I'm running away from the past I left behind. I'm looking for answers, but I'm blinded by the light. I'm lost in the music, can I stay here for the night? I promise I'll be gone in the morning, out of sight and out of mind. No blind, out of sight and out of mind. No stuck in a nightmare, but you keep doing it for the thrill. Well, this is reality, you only live it once, so wake up from your dream. But just for tonight, let the lines get blurred, let your thoughts be free, let your thoughts be free.
Good evening, hello there. There we are, thanks to FPL Juice. I've done this before anyway. Just going to sip on that. Christ almighty. Good evening all. I don't know why that's disappeared because I was supposed to be having that up there. There we are. That'll annoy people. Good evening everybody and welcome to tonight's Monday night call-in show with myself, Steve. Unfortunately there's no Jason tonight, he's ill. So he has said that he's going to try and do the stream tomorrow with me instead. So tomorrow at 8 o'clock, hopefully he's able to do the stream instead. Just a quick question, is the sound okay? Because my microphone is like there instead of... So basically... I either sit here like this, chat like this, or I bring it a bit closer and it's probably going to be a bit louder. What's the difference? Do you want it further away or closer up? Further away, you get the idea with that. And this is a good thing about tonight's stream as well, is that many of you will have seen that I did the YouTube Invitational Chat League video this morning, my announcement who's going to be invited, or who has been invited now. there were a lot of people that I missed off. What, 4 people? Yeah. There are a lot of people that I have missed off. I am aware of it. I've already seen someone already in the chat that I'm going to invite into the league, and I'm going to privately message them myself. But what I will say is that... There we are. In fact, why don't I just say the name? PK7. Bloody hell, PK7. You are also invited to the YouTube chat league. John Hayes, if you're watching back on the stream, John Hayes is another one who is also going to be invited to the YouTube chat league. I will warn all of you now, an individual who's very, 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 very good at FPL will be in the YouTube chat league because they actually participate in the chat, and it's FPL Harry, the 4th best player across the last 3 seasons. So just to reiterate, if you want to know who's in that YouTube chat league, go watch the video. If not, I'll just do it now. I'll just name the players which are brand new to it. But I'm going to leave out the ones I've already invited. But so anybody listening here now or on the replay, I've got some information for you to listen carefully. And then that way, there'll be no issues. So animations... Christos, Andre D, ABJ, A Dawson, Vince Chapman, FPL Sparta, B Yakov, Nick Sharp, Andrew Ferguson, Colm, I think you're here now, I think I just saw your name, Kick Your Ass TV, Armand Dillon, Harry Dawson, Hussein Mohammed, Mr. Scruffy, Mrs... Oh no, I've already done him. Fantasy World Order, FPL Matty Win a Lot, Kevin Kelly, Cinnamon, Jonathan Mahoney, and John Hayes and PK7. Right, what you guys need to do is, if you want to, it's not mandatory, you don't have to join if you don't want to. But basically, if you want to join the YouTube chat league, you need to message either myself on Twitter at TotalStevo. You can message the Twitter account at Elite FPL, or you can contact, preferably via Discord, to be honest with you. If you could send your YouTube profile name as well. So as I explained in the video, if for argument's sake your name is Paul Smith, and I ask you, I don't know a Paul Smith, what's your YouTube name? And you don't know, then how can I invite you to the YouTube chat league when I don't recognise the name? Because obviously what you guys are showing here is essentially the name that I'm seeing now. That's how I know that you're a regular contributor to the show. I want to make this point again as well. The YouTube chat league is just to reward the people last season, keywords being last season, who interacted with the show on a regular basis, whether it was on the live chat or whether it was commenting on the videos themselves based on last season. Because the reality of the situation is that and I want to read this out actually, there was a lot of very kind messages sent to me, because what I've deliberately done is held every single comment for review so that I don't get spammed, and it means that I'm able to actually look at who's commenting to see if they are who they say they are. And I had a really interesting message. Now ironically, this individual is a regular, or was a regular contributor, but unfortunately for whatever reason last season they didn't contribute much, so how can I invite them on if they weren't participating? But basically this individual David, I did recognise the name straight away. He wrote a very interesting point about this channel. I think it's right for me to put this message across about Elite FPL, and I know 99.9% of you guys know this anyway, but I want to address something else as well from yesterday. Blame Trigger Lips. But David Hamill wrote this and said, I like your style, Steve-O. Some of the smaller content creators have more people in their mini leagues than they do subscribers. And I'll add to that, and viewers. And the bigger ones have so many they can't really be called mini leagues due to the massive amount of people. This means creators are either talking about their mini leagues in videos and streams, but the people they are talking about aren't even watching, never mind commenting. Or the creators never mention their mini league because they are utterly pointless due to having way too many people. This approach takes, as in our approach, takes mini leagues back to what they were supposed to be in the first place. A bit of fun and psychological warfare with people you know or know of. And it's very true. Like, we have a community league, which is just basically for anybody that watches this once and just goes, I need to be part of a mini league. And then they find the code and they join it, and you never hear from them again. And the winner of that, no disrespect or anything, but unless it was, I always pick on John Harris, but I'm just going to say John Harris, unless it's John Harris or someone that's a regular contributor to the show, I don't really care who you are. Because as David has mentioned here, you're an individual that just came to Elite FPL during a live stream or a video or whatever, and is just desperate to be part of a mini league because you think you can win it. And even if you do win it, it's great. Who do you tell? Oh, look, I won the Elite FPL mini league. Did you get any acknowledgement? No. Who cares then? If it's like a mini league which people take seriously, for instance, the YouTube chat league, it's shit. I'm sure it's, I apologise, I'm sure it was Mark Byrne, wasn't it? Mark Byrne last year that won the mini league. And we acknowledge their existence. We make sure that we talk about, and this is the thing with our channel, is that we want to, I want to, especially during the live stream. Geez, I reiterate this point. Do you know how difficult it is live streaming for 2 hours or 3 hours and no one's talking? It's very hard. I even used yesterday's stream as an example of, we had 70 people watching, and of that 70 people, about 10 people were commenting on a regular basis. You get the odd person say something, and don't get me wrong, if in an hour-long stream, I don't know, let's just use Paul Smith again as a prime example. Good fragrance, mate. Use the discount code Elite FPL and get 15% off. Any of your local Tesco's. But we use Paul Smith as an example. So throughout the stream, Paul Smith in an hour writes 2 messages, and then the next live stream he does 2 messages, and the next live stream he does 2 messages. I classify that as, within reason, a regular contributor, because they're contributing every single week and they're trying to interact with me or Jason or the show in general to bring up a point that we want to discuss. But if, for argument's sake, we've got a Kelly Saunders, not that any women watch this apart from Blonde and Natasha, but Kelly Saunders messages wants to say hi, and that's it. And they did that every stream. I thank you for watching, but you're not interacting with us. That's just simple examples of what I'm trying to get at here. So, yeah, just go back to the video. And like I say, just contact me via Discord or on my Twitter account at Total Steve or thingy, because I don't know whether you're aware or not, whether you care or not, whether there are even people here right now that have literally come here because they started following me on Twitter because I decided with my camera, thanks to Trigger Lips, record off my TV the moment yesterday. I'm not going to lie, it's quite... I could probably bring it up, but I can't be bothered. The bit where I was talking... I wasn't even talking, I was just bringing up the fact about these algorithms and AI and rate my team and put my team into a machine, and it says that congratulations, that your team is 97% perfect, congratulations, you're going to win FPL. And I was just essentially making the point that if that's all you're playing this game for, then you need help. I don't have any issue with individuals that for a bit of fun want to do it. Like, an individual will be just playing around with their team and wants to input it into some data field, and it comes out with, this is only worth 50%. I don't think you're going to do really well with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But when these ginormous content creators who do have an influence on many, many, many thousands of people that watch everything they do, they'll just flock and they just use it, and they make out like these tools are there to guarantee you points and stuff. And I saw a comment from somebody on it, on my tweet or my video that I recorded, and basically said, but what's the difference between using the AI data or data in general, and you using, and he clarified what he meant, clean sheet percentage odds. And he said, unless that's your own thought process, I don't see the difference. And I said, well, no, that is my thought process. I base a lot of my decisions on the history or my own personal predictions, because I do pride myself on my own predictions. I do quite well on it. It's just a shame that, as Bilal says, the problem with you, Steve, is that you have really good thought processes. The problem is that you don't go through with it, you don't fulfill it. And that's been my biggest issue when playing this game. I do find it very difficult to keep my ears shut. Or shall I just put in my buds like I normally do? Keep my ears shut. Oh, you connect this time. These are terrible. They never connect, and then the 1 minute that I want to do a thing, they actually connect. But I just find it very difficult to block out the noise. So for argument's sake, yesterday when you got individuals like Max Roberts or whatever saying, I don't know about Alvarez, and even though I've come up with a perfectly logical argument as to why I want Alvarez, I'm thinking, actually, maybe he's got a point. So then, for argument's sake, I remove Alvarez, and Alvarez gets 2 goals against Burnley. Haaland does nothing. But I've removed Alvarez for Morris of Luton or whatever. And I'm sat there with egg on my face because it turns out that Alvarez, of all the strikers in game week 1, scored the best. And here's me just sat with everybody else like, I've got Haaland and Morris, or Haaland and Núñez. And they've done nothing. I'd be top of the YouTube chat league. I'd be top of the Rivals League. I'd be top of the Members League if I just stuck with Alvarez. But you're weak, Steve-o. You didn't bother because even though you predicted Alvarez to do well against these weaker teams, you chose to be weak yourself and go with the crowd favourite of Gabriel Jesus, who got 1 assist in a 3-0 win against Nottingham Forest. But yeah, the video that I uploaded yesterday, I don't know why it's gone a bit virally on the FPL Twitter. A lot of people have retweeted it and stuff, and I had very kind words from an individual who's popular within the community saying I should please follow this guy, and I just make the point. I wouldn't, honestly, I'm not, me and Jason don't do this for getting what I call fake followers because some idiot like me is behind a camera in his bedroom and is legitimately speaking passionately about something. I'd rather people actually come along, like individuals that I've seen comment on the videos and just say, I just like the way you give your opinion in a very passionate way, in a raw way, in a very honest way. And it's because I'm a normal person. It's just I'm a guy, along with Jason, who just wants to speak about a hobby that we enjoy. And the fact that I've got a rivalry with Jason, or I've got a rivalry with you, or I've got a rivalry with someone in the Elite FPL community, I use Vince Chapman from last season, who I don't know this for fact, but I'm pretty certain I pissed him off, hence why he just left, because he was slagging me off with my views and my picks and everything, and yet they were working out and I overtook him. Now, there could be many thousand reasons why he chose to delete his, whether he deleted his team, whether he removed himself out of leagues. I don't know what the story is. He vanished. Now, is it coincidence that it was because I was slowly catching him and then I took over and he's there in the chat at the time basically saying, why are you doing this, why are you doing that? And here's me again behind the microphone saying, I don't see what your problem is. I'm backing Fulham to beat Liverpool. I think that Mitrovic has got a really good chance against a really poor Liverpool defence here. And there's Vince going, you're speaking absolute shit, mate. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then along comes Fulham and they beat Liverpool 2-0. Mitrovic gets a brace. And it slowly catches up with this guy, and then all of a sudden he throws his toys at the pram and leaves. You know, I'm not going to name individuals from last season, but they were very prominent members of the Elite FPL community and they will admit this, that did just quit the game because they were sick to death of how, wasn't it last season, the template did really well or something, and they were getting really, or people were getting, even me, were getting really frustrated at the fact that all your logical choices were going to shit, yet and it was slightly differential to the template, yet the template was pulling through, and these individuals went, I've had enough, I'm not doing this season anymore, which is down to them. I've got nothing against these people, but they chose to leave mini leagues or they chose to leave the Elite FPL community. Fine, that's their choice. But when you're someone like me or Jason, who literally has to sit in front of what we're doing and have to continue I say have to, but we choose to continue doing live streams and videos and ranting and venting, getting frustrated with everything. I think that the individuals that come along with the ride are going to enjoy it a lot more than the individuals that just randomly see an idiot like me on video swearing, and they're like, oh, I want to follow him. Why? You know, I always use DT of Arsenal Fan TV of an individual who I kind of relate with in a way. An individual who rants and raves a lot, or did. And I've always said this 1,000 times, that the reality of the situation is that DT was a natural, organic speaker talking to Robbie on AFTV, and he was passionately speaking about Arsenal and how frustrated he was with the team, and it was just fascinating. But as the years went on and on and on, you could see that he was playing up to a character. There was still 75% of the individual that was him, but even I could see that it really got to him to the point of where he was just playing up to the character, where I've seen some videos where he's going so batshit crazy. I'm thinking, it's like Nick said on FPL Juice TV when he replies to trolls, are you feeling okay? Do you want to talk? And that was DT. Because it got to the point where I just don't believe this guy anymore. I don't believe what he's showing us on camera is the actual guy who it is. He's just playing up to a character, essentially. He's acting. How do I act? There's the first extras reference for Steve-O Bingo, even though that's the Snakes and Ladders. Tyler, if you're listening, hope that bingo card is coming along. But no, the point being is that if there is anybody watching this because you started following me on Twitter because of a proxy video that I recorded off my phone, welcome. But I'm telling you now that if you thought that was funny or bad, if you're here for the long run, it gets worse. Trust me. As I said, I did 2 videos yesterday. Can I bring it up on TV? TV! Yes, I can. So, where are they? I hate this phone's gallery. It is terrible. Ha! Here we go. So, here's one, which you won't be able to see it. No, I'm here at Whipsnade Zoo again. Still underneath the rhino. Let me just spin it around like that. I just zoom in. There are some rhinos just there, white rhinos. So I did that video, and I actually, would you believe, censored myself. I didn't want to release it. Hello there. And then I did another one. The FPL video where, I'll be completely blunt with you, I recorded a 25-minute video from here. Anyway, so I actually did 2 videos, but I actually chose not to release them because I could probably get done for slander. And I really would get potential proper hate from the individuals that I kind of mentioned, and I didn't really want to go down that route, so I thought, you know what, let me just censor. But I am potentially tempted to put them as members videos, potentially, just if any of the members are interested in watching them or listening to them. But the thing with this channel, without going over the same bloody broken record, is that we are quite literally, as Jason says, Marmite. I know there's an individual in a very, very large account in the FPL community that's openly said that they don't particularly like our channel. Now, they didn't actually use our name, but it's quite obvious that they don't like the approach that me and Jason have, which is fair enough. That's absolutely fine. No issue with that at all. But the reality of the situation is that me and Jason, I feel I do this speech every fucking year, to be honest with you. But we feel that we represent you, individuals of people that play a game, a free game, and you get invested in a mini league and you want to beat people. You know, and the whole point in that, it wasn't even a rant, it was just an observational piece, to be honest with you, where I'm just essentially saying that you're my rival. Why are you telling me I should tear up my team because it doesn't fit the template? You know, Triggerlips made the point on Twitter. He said, look, you're not going to win FPL or just win a mini league by choosing template. Yes, there are obvious players you're going to pick. Like, going against Haaland is virtually suicide. You can go against Haaland, and I absolutely 100% agree with Nick that I'm not particularly impressed by Man City. They do still seem to be in this Champions League hangover in pre-season, not really trying too hard. They don't need to try hard, but from what I've seen, from basic highlights, from what people have seen watching the matches, pretty much all the comments are the same, which is I'm not particularly that interested. And when you look at their fixtures, so we've got Burnley, who will put up a fight. We're gonna lose. I expect Man City to score 3 goals in a 3. I'm going to be predicting 3-1 for that game. I do think we'll score 3-1. Then they got Newcastle at home. Again, I'd expect them to score a minimum of 2 in a 2-1 win. Sheffield United away, 4-5, 6-0. Sheffield United are doomed this year. Fulham at home, 4-5-0. West Ham away, 2-0, 2-1. Nottingham Forest at home, 3-4-0. Wolves away, 3-4-0. Arsenal away. It just goes on and on and on. And that's just me just roughly looking at the fixtures right now, just spewing off some nonsense out of my mouth. But we're obviously all going to go with Haaland. But which other Man City assets are we going to be choosing? Is it going to be like the likes of Foden, Grealish, Alvarez, going with Stones, Diaz, Laporte, Edison, Winnersh? But you just have to base everything on basic percentages of, well, you'd be mad not to go out without Haaland. Saka's another one. Rashford's another one. A Man United asset in defence, whether it's Onana. The Onana who's apparently, according to anybody that criticises anybody that hasn't got him, is going to score a minimum of 10 points a game. Got to have Brighton assets. And as long as you've got basic coverage, it's fine. Within your... Because to mention this, I've put up a poll for anybody that cares. I've put up a poll in the chat, and I've just put how many of your current starting 11, so your main 11, will be there for game week 1. Is it 3 to 5, 6 to 8, 9 to N? I'm all set with my 11. 48% of you have said 6 to 8, so 82 votes. 6 to 8 is pretty much a start. So let's just say 6 of the players that the majority of this 48%, 6 of those are guaranteed in your team. Well, in my team, and this isn't my team up on screen, I'll tell you why, what this team's all about here. But if we were to look at this team here, I can pretty much guarantee now that of this team here, Haaland, Saka, Fernandes, Estepinian, Onana and Trent are probably guaranteed to be in this team. Basically, I'm pretty much certain that those players are going to be in this individual's team here. So then it's just a case of, right, I need to look at Stones, Zinchenko, Matoma, Son, Buemo. So that's 6. So then you've just got to work out, right, where do I go with this team here? Do I replace Zinchenko with Gabriel to go with the safety option, the template option? Do I change my formation to a 3-5-2? Do I go down the route of 3-4-3? And it just goes on and on. But as we all know with FPL, there is always going to be a ballpark of players which we're all going to choose from. But then it's a case of, right, but which 1 or 2, maybe 3 differentials can I go with, which are relatively safe and can potentially buck the trend and push me up the ranks in game week 1, 2, 3 and so on. And from my personal point of view, as I stated with my team yesterday, if I put it up on screen, and let me just let you guys know, I will be taking phone calls. I'm not going to be speaking all night here. Ironically, I said yesterday was a chill stream. It turned out more like a rant stream. But anyway, this really is going to be a chill stream. So this team up on screen here is in the Discord team screenshots. If you want to come live on air with me and talk to me about your team, your decision making, the Discord is there. It's open. All you got to do is jump into the waiting room. Make sure you put your team in the team screenshots, and I'll happily discuss with you your team. If you just want to chat shit, just make sure you've got the topic at hand here. I'll happily talk shit with you. But just be wary that you can come on air, and we will be chatting to you guys, whoever wants to come on to talk about their teams and various other conversations that you want to talk about. But the team that I've got here as it stands right now, and I was playing around with it. I wasn't playing around with it here, but the players in my team that I'm a bit like are Alvarez, Jack. In fact, no, I'm not concerned about Jackson. It's Alvarez, potentially Trent, and that's about it. I've kind of looked at getting rid of Trent, but it's mainly based on, funny enough, our man Dylan was the one that brought this up, the clean sheet potential. So he just simply asked, how many clean sheets do you expect Liverpool to have in the first, he said 4, but I'm going to say 5 game weeks. Thank you again, FPL Juice. Tune in tomorrow, 6 p.m, where FPL Mate and someone else is on. Harry, I don't think you are here at the moment, but Harry, if you're listening, I wonder if FPL Mate will be like, no, you're right, mate. Don't worry about it. Really, you're fine. One to beat next year in the Members League and the YouTube Chat League. In fact, Gabriel De Rop, if you're listening, Harry should actually be entered into the Rivals League, to be honest with you. But anyway, back to Trent and Liverpool and clean sheets, etc. How many clean sheets in the opening 5 fixtures, Armand Dillon said, do you think they'll get? The simple answer is 2. Against Bournemouth and Wolves, if anything. In the Chelsea game, I'm expecting it roughly to be... Oh yeah, that reminds me. 3-2, despite the fact the history, because I've got it all up in front of me now, the history isn't exactly confident in a high-scoring game. It's suggesting a draw. You all know what the draw is. It's 0-0. I don't know if actually that comes up on the screen. Does this come up on screen? I don't know. Just about. I'd need to move it up a bit, but 0-0. Or it will be Tyler. I've just seen you. Is that you, Tyler? As in Tyler, the one that's designed. He's here. Fans. But yeah, last 6 fixtures between Liverpool and Chelsea have all ended in a draw. The last 4 have ended 0-0. And the only time there was actually more than 2 goals in a game was in the Premier League on the 2nd of January 2022, when it ended Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2. The goal scorers on that day were as follows. So this game ended 2-2. In fact, oh no, I can't go to the chat. To hell with it, I'm going to go to the chat. Who scored that day? I'm going to have to go all the way to the bottom to then go back to the top again. Brilliant. Because I haven't even said hello to the chat at the moment. Yes, Tyler. Hello, mate. Hello. Who were the 4 goal scorers in that 2-2 draw? So you've got 4 individual scorers on that day. Who were they? Well, Barry Shuttleworth. Kovacic was one of them. Nick Sharp, you need to contact me about the YouTube mini league. Mane, David Hamil, yes, Salah, and PK7 Pulisic. Congratulations. You spelt Pulisic wrong. You spelt Pulisic wrong, but still, yeah, the answer is Mane, Salah, Pulisic, and Kovacic. The assisters in that game were Trent Alexander-Arnold and Kante. There were no assists given for 2 of the other goals. In fact, Kante assisted Pulisic and Trent assisted Mohamed Salah. So I'm expecting that game to be a high-scoring 3-2, 4-2, 3-1 either way, something like that. I don't know why, that's what I'm expecting. Even though the history suggests 0-0. Bournemouth at home. So, Bournemouth at home for Liverpool, I know for a fact is going to be an easy fixture. I think the average score for those particular fixtures is like 4-0 to Liverpool. I'm pretty certain that the average score for Liverpool against Bournemouth is like 4-0. Now, you look at last season where, of course, they won 9-0, and Salah, who, how it happened, didn't get a single return in that particular fixture. But yeah, 4-0, 3-0, 3-0, 2-1, 9-0, and then Bournemouth beat Liverpool 1-0 on the 11th of March. Now, in that 9-0 victory, on the 27th of August, Diaz scored in the 3rd minute, Harvey Elliott scored in the 6th, Trent scored in the 28th, Firmino the 31st, Van Dijk the 45th, Methen scored an own goal, Firmino 62nd minute, Carvalho 8th minute, 80th minute. Scored the 8th goal in the 80th minute, and then Diaz scored in the 85th minute. Salah played the full 90 minutes and got nothing. Do I expect them to keep a clean sheet against Bournemouth? Yes. Newcastle away. Now, I have no idea what the history is between them, but I do seem to think that they actually do have a decent record against Newcastle, as in winning. So if we go here, and if we look at Newcastle versus Liverpool, which I can't seem to find because I've clicked the wrong button, of course. Here we go here, Newcastle versus Liverpool. Once it decides to load up, there we are. Yeah. 0-0, 1-1, and then 3-1 Liverpool, 1-0 Liverpool, 2-1 Liverpool, 2-0 Liverpool. So there's actually a chance that there could be a clean sheet in this game, more in favour of Liverpool. In fact, on 3 occasions away from home, Liverpool have kept a clean sheet. So if you are like Denver and rely on this kind of information, you know, there's your second clean sheet of 3. And in theory, based on history, that's your third clean sheet in 3. As an average, based on history, Liverpool are going to keep a clean sheet because they seem to keep clean sheets against these particular opponents. Now, I'm pretty certain that Liverpool against Aston Villa, they do not like playing. I'm pretty certain Aston Villa have a decent record against Liverpool of late. I could be completely wrong. Yeah, I am. So, you got a 4-1, a 2-1, a 1-0, a 2-1, a 3-1, and then they got that 1-1 draw on the last day of the season. Salah with the goal, if I remember. Jason's face just... But there we are, no clean sheets in that apart from once. So, we can count that away, that Aston Villa are probably going to score against Liverpool. So that's 3 out of 4 potential clean sheets based on history. And this is just Liverpool. And then finally, if we look at the final game, it is Wolves and the history versus Wolves. Are all these stats going to be about Liverpool? No. I've got stuff about Burnley. Yeah, there's a high chance there's a clean sheet. There's been 4 clean sheets out of the last 6. 3 of them for Liverpool, 1 of them for Wolves. 1-0 Liverpool, 3-1, 2-2, and then 1-0 Liverpool, 3-0 Wolves, 2-0 Liverpool. So, again, based on history, there's actually a chance that Liverpool could potentially keep 4 clean sheets out of 5, based on history. Me personally, like I said, I don't expect that to happen this time round. I expect that to be 2. However, from an attacking perspective with Trent Alexander-Arnold, Jesus Christ, have we been going on for 43 minutes? Fucking. Based on... See you later, everybody. Based on Trent Alexander-Arnold's potential attacking output, I'd expect him to get a minimum of 3 attacking returns out of 5. That's what I'd expect. On his new role, his new confidence. He's got a 6-pack now. That apparently proves that he's an elite FPL athlete. Try saying that in a tongue twister. Elite FPL athlete. Yeah, you just done it there, Steve-o. Now, because he's got a 6-pack, apparently he's going to be really proven. But yeah, I'd expect 2 or 3 returns, attacking returns out of those 6. So I think that just based on that alone, I've been persuaded to keep Trent, basically. And I can't say what's this got to do with FPL, because it's got everything to do with FPL. Right then. I'm going to say hello to the chat now, even though we started 44 minutes ago. Is anybody actually in the Discord? Yes, there is. Good. Right. We've got people on the Discord. We can start speaking to these individuals in 2 seconds. don't have to listen to me. I'm just going to let them speak. An individual that actually privately messaged me, and that's a member as well, and do thank him, Raghav. Thank you. Hello there, Tom Stainer, Marcus, FPL Matty win a lot. You are an individual, Matty, that you need to contact me. Kazali, you definitely need to contact me via Discord. You're a regular contributor to the show. So Kazali, make sure you contact me for the code KDB17. In fact, there's another name, KDB17. You were a regular contributor to the show. Here we go. This is going to be a mini league full of people. So KDB17 and Kazali, if you could contact me via Discord preferably, but at Total Steve or at Elite FPL, and I can give you the code to try and beat Harry, or more specifically Mark Byrne, PK7, hello pal, Podner, David Hamil, we just funny enough mentioned him, Jonathan Mahoney, you just mentioned him as well, Harry Dawson, Connor, good evening, A Dawson, we've got Danish there, Mark Antigua, blimey, Mark Antigua, a very, very, very long-term supporter of the show. Are you in the Rivals League? Good evening, PM. Good evening, Denver. Animations, I see you're in the waiting room. Gabrielle Derop, good afternoon. Gabrielle Derop here actually saying, I kept track of everybody who won an Elite FPL mini league over the last 3 seasons. Can you copy and paste that and send it to me privately, if you can? Gary Halliwell, yeah, I saw your message. Just enjoy the stream back, Gary. Enjoy your shift, waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I am so glad I am not having to wake up at those ridiculous times in the morning ever again. Good evening, Blonde. 3 Pettivra, John Wilkes, you're down there. I did mention your name, John. Working out, deadlifting. Yeah, deja vu, yeah. Good evening, Madeline Tudor. Obviously, I messaged you. Well, you messaged me, same difference. Good lad, Fire Talk. Good afternoon, Fire Talk. Welcome. Phil Stones, good evening, pal. Odin, many lots of you. Hello, Natasha, get well soon. It's your internet, Natasha. Kevin Kelly's here. This is the thing, there's lots and lots of regular faces here, talking everything. Adam S saying, why do you hate the Villa? Trust me, I if anything, I'm actually really looking forward to their season next year, and they're a team in which I'm seriously thinking on looking at having Watkins in from game week 1. Genuinely, I think that we know what we're going to get from Watkins, we know what we're going to get from Aston Villa, and to be completely honest with you, I mean, if we're gonna go down the history route, let's look at Aston Villa versus Newcastle. Forget, because when they've got Everton and Luton in the opening 3 or 4 fixtures, and it's decided to crash on me. Brilliant. These websites, honestly, they've got so many adverts. It's just. So Aston Villa against Newcastle. Let's just see what the aggregate score is. Is there any clean sheets in it? Is there lots of goals? And the answer is, there's clean sheets and lots of goals, and mainly, unfortunately, to the home team. So, in fact, stick with the history here. The home team across the last 6 fixtures between Newcastle and Aston Villa, which includes, to be honest with you, a friendly, but I don't care, I take it all into account. In fact, that actually happened the other day between Aston Villa and Newcastle on the 24th of the 7th. I thought we were 2024, we're 2023, aren't we? It ended 3-3. So the home team, or the team that's classified as home, even though the last 5 fixtures before this friendly were all in the Premier League, have not lost a game. There's been 2 draws between these 2 fixtures, including that 3-3 between those 2. Newcastle won, Aston Villa won, but then it comes down to the winnings, and all with clean sheets, would you believe? Aston Villa 2, Newcastle 0. Newcastle 1, Aston Villa 0. Newcastle 4, Aston Villa 0. Aston Villa 3, Newcastle 0. And in that friendly, where it ended 3-3 the other day, and I can't give you any information on who scored or anything like that, it doesn't really matter. But following on from that, their fixtures after that, where they have Everton at home, who I believe are going to be in serious trouble next year or this year. Then they are away at Burnley, where I can see them scoring at least 2. Then it's Liverpool, but again, not exactly well, it is a difficult fixture, but I can see them scoring. And then it's Crystal Palace at home. I am really, really, really tempted to potentially go with somehow getting Ollie Watkins in this team ahead of Alvarez. The problem is, though, it means getting rid of Trent Alexander-Arnold. A player I was actually seriously considering was, for 6.5, was Robertson for that Liverpool coverage, but I think Trent's the one to have. And it's such a shame that Watkins is that 8 for the game. It means that we have to think. But something I've been thinking about really is, how do I get to a player in one move rather than having to spend points? And certainly Ollie Watkins in for Trent. Essentially, that's what it is. Ollie Watkins in for Trent. That's the dilemma. Let's say a dilemma. It's not even a dilemma, is it? But I'm very, very tempted by it. So yeah, let's crack on with good old phone calls. I'm going to start with animations, I think. Hello, Steve-O. In fact, oh no, is that Crazy Jack? I think it may be, yeah. So I'm going to just quickly put the desktop audio on. I'm going to put their team up on screen here, like so. There we are. So before animations comes on, in fact, let me just bring him into the, there he is here. Hello, animations. Hello.
Hello there, mate. You alright?
You're going to be winning the YouTube Chat League this year?
I'm going to try to, mate. I mean, most seasons I've been playing the game just by myself and with some of my work colleagues, but...
Come on, you've got to be more confident than trying. You want to be beating Harry, aren't you?
No, I want to be beating people like you or some people in the chat.
Who in the chat do you want to beat? Come on, name them. They're your rivals.
Probably Max. Because I know he does the outrageous pick.
Ironically, he's not here.
Yeah, that's true.
So you want to beat? Okay, you generally want to beat Max. Anybody else? I'll tell you. I'll be honest with you. Someone who I like to pit my wits about is apart from Jason, it's Firetog. Because I respect Firetog's opinion so much. He is somebody that I classify as my rival.
Yeah, he's definitely up there. I mean, even maybe like Dread if he's in it.
Yes, yes. I'll just do an impression of Dread for you and then he'll be here. But Max Roberts is actually here. So there we are, Max. You have a response in the chat for animations. He says, I didn't realise I had a rival, but let's go. Just tell animations to piss off. No, in all seriousness, we got your team up on screen here, and it is a genuinely beautiful looking team for anybody listening in on audio if you're out on a walk or something. We got Johnston in goal, Shaw, Gabriel, Estepinian, Rashford, Saka, Foden, Fernandes, Matoma, Jesus, Haaland. I've completely forgotten what your team was like before, but has any changes been made since the last time you were on a couple of weeks ago?
So yeah, I basically took out Son because I didn't know what was going to happen with like Kane and stuff like that, and I was debating Trent. And yeah, no, it hasn't. To be fair to you, I haven't really looked at FPL a lot. Really, it's been working really, but I made like a few changes and stuff this week. So because I've been seeing like what do you call it, stuff like with Chilwell and Chelsea doing well and stuff like that. So
he is a player, Chilwell, who I am personally tempted to replace Trent with to get in Watkins. But it is that horrible fear of missing out, FOMO, with Trent. But you're impressed by Chilwell, are you?
yeah, I've heard he's got a few assists during pre-season. They obviously won that Tiger Cup, which just probably isn't really a cup, the other day, and stuff like that. But I can see what you're saying with Trent though. Like it's that FOMO of missing out against Bournemouth, like 9-0 last season. Pretty sure Trent didn't he get like an assist or two maybe last season?
Well, if you were listening to the history a second ago, I just told you, mate.
No, I had my TV down. That's why I wasn't paying attention.
He scored.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, then, yeah, that's the FOMO then, isn't it? I'm missing out if you don't have him.
Yeah, and their fixtures, despite looking bad on paper, actually, based on the history just now, seem pretty good. I mean, the only thing that I've got in my head, just thinking logically, is, and it is so tough, is potentially going with Alvarez game week 1 versus Burnley, because I expect Alvarez to start, have Chilwell in my team for Trent, and then in game week 2 get rid of Alvarez, bring in Watkins, and kind of worry about whatever Liverpool do to Bournemouth, they do to Bournemouth, and just think, well, I've lost out on the points there. Or I just have Watkins from the start, and I could just easily do Jackson out for Núñez, if, for argument's sake, Núñez is looks like to be the front runner for Liverpool's strike force, because I think it will be Diaz, Núñez and Salah as the front three, as the first front three, despite the fact that I believe Klopp came out with saying that he wasn't particularly I think there was Trigger Lips that said this, but he wasn't particularly impressed with his defensive duties, this pressing down and everything. But that could be a potential way in which I could have a Liverpool asset, because Jackson's got West Ham, and then I could just easily do the hokey cokey of them bringing back Jackson for the likes of Luton and so on and so forth. But from your point of view, do you think planning like that is just stupid? Do you think actually no? I think you've got a logical thought process there.
I think it's pretty logical, because if you think about it, people are going to be doing different things and stuff like that, and you kind of maybe booking transfers is decent, and that's why with Elite FPL and like you, Jason, and some other people, like you make your own decisions, which is why I prefer to watch the Elite FPL content more than I would with like say a Let's Talk FPL or stuff like that. I'm not saying their channels are bad. It's just sometimes looking at the differential picks from you and Jason and stuff like that just makes me think, what should I do with my team, for example, and stuff like that, if you get my drift.
Yeah, we always make this point that this is why we want to kind of get people's thought processes on, because we want to hear your reasoning as to why you're doing this or you're doing that. And in fact, as you'll be aware with like members videos and stuff like this is why Bilal says your thought process is there, but you don't go through with it. So I've just discussed with you and the people listening in a very simple thought process of going Jackson game week 1 for Liverpool, because I personally expect to high scoring, and Jackson can take advantage of the high line. I've nicked that from Trigger Lips. Then you've got swapping out Jackson for Núñez, in game week 2 where I've got Núñez for Bournemouth, whereas Jackson is away at West Ham, which is terrible. And then I get rid of Núñez because he's got Newcastle away and bring Jackson back in for these absolutely fantastic fixtures in Luton, Forest and Bournemouth. I think I've already talked myself into this, to be honest with you. But it means sacrificing Trent for, in this specific case, Chilwell. And this is the things that go through my head, just to kind of explain my thought processes. Then I go, well, maybe I should get Gabriel in for Chilwell, bring Onana in for Ramsdale, and all this other nonsense. But it means then booking other transfers for this transfer and that transfer and so on and so forth. Because the one player that I'm keen on at 4.5 and looks like to be a starter for Chelsea is this Colwill. And if he is set his place in stone, those 3 fixtures against Luton, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, etc., if he's getting clean sheets and potential bonus points, you've got a 4.5 Chelsea asset. His price is going to shoot up, and I can't be missing out on that. Whereas the other player that I'm genuinely thinking of having for 4.5 in that slot, so I don't have 3 Chelsea assets and 2 of them being defenders, is Matty Cash. He looked like yesterday. I don't know if you saw the 3-minute highlight package. I mean, he scored yesterday. He looked happy. He looked like a player that always seems to do well. Whether he plays, isn't he Polish?
Yeah, he is. He was Englishman, yeah.
Yeah, he seems to play very well for Poland, very attacking. He's done very well for Aston Villa, very attacking despite injuries. Matty Cash, again, he's another one that could be an absolute bargain at 4.5, and an Aston Villa team who I think this season are going to be challenging for the top 7 easily. They're going to be right up there. And with those fixtures in the likes of Everton, Burnley, I can easily play him, bench him for Liverpool, and then he's back at home to Crystal Palace. I'm actually talking myself round to this.
Well, the only thing with Matty Cash is, I was thinking, didn't Konza start over him and right back?
I don't know. This is why doing these chats is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good pick. I mean, you'd obviously have that threat of Konza there because, I think the back line for probably Villa would probably be Martinez, Konza or Metcalf Cash, then probably like Pau Torres, and then either like Mings or someone like that, and then Digne or Moreno when he's back fit. So.
Is Konza a natural right back?
No, I think he's a centre back.
But Emre wants to play. Would there be any reason as to why he would play Konza over Cash, just from a defensive point of view, I'm guessing?
I'm not 100% sure of that, but I did see a Twitter lineup from the preseason game that he was a right back, and he can score a header probably here or there. So,
well, do you know how many attacking returns he got last year?
No, not to hand. No,
0.
Do you have him now? 0. Oh, man.
He played.
Maybe Cash is the one then. Maybe for 4.5.
Well, Cash, bearing in mind he was injured for half the season, he got 2 assists, whereas in the season before, he played a full season and got 4 goals and 3 assists. And I like Matty Cash. I think that there's a lot of potential there from an attacking perspective. And Aston Villa are looking good, but it's unfortunately, like the people in the chat are saying, he's not, and like you've just said, he's not nailed, which is really frustrating. Getting back to your team though, you just said that you haven't really been looking at FPL and so on and so forth. How close is this team? So I put out a poll saying, of your 11 starting, who is pretty much guaranteed. Of this 11 here, who's virtually going to be in that game week 1 team?
Well, for that answer, I put 6 to 8.
And who are those?
Well, I think, short for me, I think I prefer him over Onana, just because he's more attacking. He's probably going to get a good amount of bonus and stuff like that. I mean, Gabriel, like you said, everyone's gone for him. He's He's a guaranteed centre back that's going to start attacking threat. Then
Yes.
Estepinian, Rashford, and Saka. Just every draft I've had, they've both been. Probably Matoma. And he's out, so that's and then Matoma, and I'd probably say Jesus. So that's probably like what? Oh no, and Haaland obviously. So 6 day I would say
So really, it's Foden, Fernandes.
Yeah, and the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper could be any 4.5. Fernandes could easily become Son. Like you said, you've kind of taught me in the Colwill move now. Getting him in if he doesn't.
You got Chilwell on the bench, which I always.
Sorry, carry on.
I always make this point that benching premium team assets is always a bad idea. It's always a mistake. Now, your team is that strong that who do you bench out of it? You know, I couldn't. There go. I think Chilwell's a better option than Matoma or whatever. That'd be madness. But to have Chilwell on the bench, I personally do not like premium team players being benched because they always seem to pop up with goals. I mean, ironically, their former player, Azpilicueta, he was somebody who, whenever he played the big teams, always seems to pop up with a goal or an assist. Always seemed to do really, really well. Like I say, you've got Chilwell on the bench here, but with the likes of Fernandes and Foden, why are you concerned about those two? Because I think they're perfectly fine options.
Well, the thing is, with Fernandes, he's a great player. I expect him to do well and stuff like that, but I'm debating about now that you've talked about Colwill and stuff, maybe I'll do Chilwell to Colwill, Bruno to Son if Kane leaves in the summer, or is leaving, sorry, if he leaves. Foden isn't a big worry. It's just depending on if like any of their players are still injured or whatever, or stuff like that.
Are you that adamant on Son?
Well, it's just if Kane leaves, everyone's just going to get Richarlison in their team. I feel like that's just boring if Kane does go.
What's wrong with boring?
I don't know. It's just sometimes I want to go a little bit differential, not 100% like.
But
go for the
there's going differential for the sake of going differential, and then there's Richarlison. I mean, I'm telling you now, Richarlison is differential enough. If you want to go with a player which you believe a lot of people will be getting in. I mean, I wouldn't be wanting Richarlison myself, but.
Well, would you not go for him if Kane was out? They're out and out striker, not looking to get anyone else in.
I want to look at how Tottenham's set up first before anything.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, it might be worth waiting on Spurs.
I want to see I'm being a complete hypocrite now. There are 3 teams in this league who I want to see how they set up before I look at them, even though I've got 1, 2. Where am I looking here? For God's sake, I'm on the wrong page again. Trent. So it's Liverpool, Tottenham, and Chelsea. Even though I've got 1.
Max Roberts 1 donated £5 through Super Chat. Challenge accepted. I'll also spice it up a bit. £1 to a charity of your choice for every 10 points you beat me by. If you do, let's go Sucker.
Okay, I don't know if people heard that on the chat there. Can you let me know if you actually heard that robotic voice? I was going to address.
No, I couldn't hear anything.
You wouldn't have been able to hear it, but I did through my ear. Can you let me know if you heard that? I may as well just read it out then. So Max Roberts has super chatted. I have no idea what this is about. Maybe you could super chat again. Why? Don't. Max Roberts is saying, again, I'm assuming he's talking to someone in chat. Challenge accepted. I'll also spice it up a bit. £1 to a charity of your choice for every 10 points you beat me by. If you do, let's go sucker, as Booker T says. Who are you talking to there, Max? Is it your rival that I'm speaking to now?
Wait, so he's saying if he beats me, if I beat him by 10 points, he's going to donate a quid to a charity.
Well, I don't think this is aimed at you,
Is
but
that what he's saying?
if it is you, but yeah, for every 10 points you're clear of him, he'll donate £1 to charity. So if you're 20 points clear, you'll.
All right, why not?
if it's you, of course, it could be.
If Max is going to donate to charity, then why not? Let's go.
Are you willing to match the bet?
I'll have to see. I can see how many points he beats me by.
What? So if it's 100, that'll be 10 quid.
100 quid. I ain't got 100 quid.
Oh no, it'll be 100 quid. No, for every 10 points, so it'll be a tenner.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, could do.
Who are you referring to there, Max? Yeah.
To me, I think.
So going back, it is to you animations.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant! Oh, and they did hear the robotic voice. Brilliant. That's good. That's good to hear. Yeah. So going back to Tottenham, Chelsea, and Liverpool, they're 3 teams that I'm kind of monitoring. But you're pretty confident in. I mean, Firetogs just said there that he would, if Kane does leave, he'd be confident in bringing in Richarlison. Son, you're adamant on bringing in a Tottenham player if Kane, one of those two, if Kane leaves then?
Yeah, I think for me, I just think Son, Golden Boot winner. I think he'll do good this season. And like you said, you were talking about Colwill. I'm tempted to start with him honestly, and then upgrade Bruno to Son. Take that punt, doesn't work out, can always change Son to Bruno if he bangs.
Their opening fixtures: Brentford away. It's about a 50-50 chance of getting attacking return. That Man United at home, not the greatest of fixtures. In fact, I think Man United have got a decent. I think they've got a decent record against Tottenham, and then they got Bournemouth away, where we know last season they won 3-2, I believe it was. Dyer, I think, was one of the goal scorers that day. Remind me in chat if you can. But so really, animations, barring pretty much like you said, Johnson, Foden, and Fernandes, this team is set and ready to go.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, like I said, Max is put in the chat saying I don't have to match it, but he wants to pay more attention to the game. Maybe I might have to step up my game here. See what happens. Well,
it's there live, Max. So we've seen the bet now, and yeah, who was it here just said this? Who was it that just said this? Something about this season the league is going to be a lot more competitive. Matthew Zaishi, the YouTube chat league is going to be very competitive this year. Well, I'm pretty certain last season it was pretty much down to a couple of points by the end of it. I can't remember if it was or not. I'm pretty certain though it really did come down to the wire within the last few weeks. So I think there was only like a few points in it because they're all copying each other. I remember when me and Jason used to go through each team and going, yeah, they've got that. Yeah, it's down to that one player. That was it. So, animations, have you got anything more to add before we get on with the rest of the show?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for getting me on the league and stuff. Like I said in the chat earlier, I don't know if you saw it. I had messaged you on Discord, so yeah, I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's fine.
Looking forward to a great season, so yeah.
Well, I'll say this to you along with anybody else that's thanking me or Jason or whatever. The reality of the situation is more thank you for participating in the show and making it interactive like it is. Simple as it gets. It's not nothing to do with me and Jason. I just have to go regular contributor. Yeah, right, his name. That's it. I don't do anything. You guys are the ones that tune in every week and participate in the show like you're doing now. So that's the main thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm glad I'm here for it. I mean, final day of the season was pretty good when you guys got me on. So yeah, just thanks for that anyway.
No, thank you. Animations, thanks for coming on.
Thank you guys. See you soon.
There's Animations there with his team there. What do you think of his team? I think it's very, very good. I'm now going to bring on a regular contributor, or certainly was last season, in the Discord. I'm assuming it's the same person. It better be. It's FPL Maverick. Hello, Maverick?
Hello there, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Are you the Maverick that's in Discord on a regular basis?
No, there's two of us actually. So
Brilliant.
But I am John Wilkes in YouTube chat, so...
No way. Wait a minute. John Wilkes?
Yeah.
What, the guy
YouTube.
the guy that's deadlifting now?
Yeah, well, I've just finished, yeah.
You're in America, I thought.
No. I'm actually in Cheshire. Leafy Cheshire, or rainy, rather, today.
Oh. So it's... I get you, and I think it's John Hayes. I think it's John Hayes that's in America. I can't remember who. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Welcome. Well, thanks for supporting the show. You are. I did mention your name in the. I'm sure I did. In the YouTube chat, that you know.
Yes, you did. Yes, I'm in that. I made the cut.
Yes. Were you in it? Were you in it last season?
I was in last season as well. Yes.
Ah, right. I see. Can you remember how you did?
I started off brilliantly and ended shockingly. I ended up about in the middle of the table.
Did I come ahead of you?
It was close. I was ahead of you for a lot of the time. I think you picked me at the end.
But you didn't do a whatchamacallit? You didn't do a Vince Chapman and leave though, did you?
Oh no! I mean, obviously I was crying into my tea every Saturday, Sunday, seeing how horribly my team went the last 10 games. But no.
Thank you, Max. Really do appreciate you sticking by. A bit of a dig at another channel there. Not even a channel, it was a website. John, we've got your team up on screen here, and it is about as I've just removed it. Again, it's pretty solid. There's nothing to talk to us about, really. The Nkuku pick and Chilwell.
Okay, well, I had James for ages, and watching the pre-season, he didn't seem to be having a run out. I know he played a few minutes. I really wanted James, but I just got rattled by the fact he hasn't put many minutes in. So I thought, right, I'll go Chilwell instead. But I wanted a Chelsea defender in, and I wanted James because he's been so good in the past. And I was prepared to gamble on the injuries. Nkunku, again, he's done well pre-season. I wanted a couple of Chelsea players in for the fixture flip, and I'm a sucker for getting mugged by new players coming to the league, like Werner a couple of years ago, costing a fortune and doing nothing. So I thought, why not sell myself up the river again by doing it again this year?
Just to let people know, I know that unfortunately I'm not Jason, I'm not a producer, I don't know how to enlarge this image. Llama, if you're listening, let us know. But for people that can't see it on the screen, put it on the TV, not your mobile phone. But Onana in goal, we've got Estepinian, Gabriel, Chilwell, Saka, Rashford, Matoma, Foden, and Nkuku, Jesus, Haaland. It is, in fact, what are the differences between yours and Animation's team, apart from you've got... And Wemo on the bench, a very popular template team player, but you've benched him. The question from me to you is, why have a template player in but not start him?
It's very simple. I've got Foden, and I've got two debatable Chelsea players. So I think with Pep Roulette and also with Chilwell's injury record and Nkunku being new, having a rival that might play, I think there's some risk of some of these players having their minutes curtailed. So having another solid bench player that I can bring in, or I can bring him into better fixtures. He's on the bench because he's got Tottenham for the first game, and I just felt
fair enough, yeah.
And I just thought, no, I want a strong bench player, just to cover the almost inevitable roulette in this team.
Yeah, I've completely lost my train of thought. There was something I was going to say to you just now, and I've completely lost the train of thought. Brilliant, isn't it? It's pretty standard. I've put up. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. Remember though, this because of the 5 substitute rule, all these players are going to get at least 10 minutes per match. You're not concerned that maybe you're wasting so much money on the bench that, for argument's sake, and Cuckoo doesn't start against Liverpool, and you're thinking, bloody hell, yeah. Buemo has scored a goal against Tottenham. He's my first player on the subs bench, and Cuckoo hasn't started. It's the 85th minute. Liverpool and then Chelsea are losing 2-1, and you see the substitute thing come up, and there's Nkuku's name. You're not concerned by that?
Oh yeah, I am concerned about that, and that's likely to happen at some point. However, what I will say is, let's just say I get rid of Mbemo there, and I put in the cheapest possible midfielder. That would save me 2 million. What's going to improve my team by adding 2 million to it? I can't get Trent, so that's not enough. Who else can I upgrade and make something out of 2 million that is worth more than having a solid player that could come on if they don't play a minute?
Have you not thought about if you're not what's the word I'm looking for here? Christ almighty, I'm lost for words, quite literally. If you're a bit concerned about saying Cuckoo's minutes, and who was it here? Sorry, I haven't actually got the chat on stream. It is somebody, I apologise, has said about Nkuku. Who the hell was it? They made an interesting point. I can't see it. They were saying something about Nkuku. Why not go with a more proven player or something like this, or go with a 3-5-2? Surely downgrading Nkuku and then upgrading. So Nkuku down to a 4.5, which is then what, 3.5 million. Then maybe upgrading Buemo to a more better quality midfielder, perhaps in a 3-5-2. Or are you adamant on 3 strikers?
I have decided just to mix it up a bit and do something different and go for 3 strikers this year. Because
same here.
I thought so many teams doing 3-5-2, and I thought, well, no, and I wanted a bit of variation. I didn't see many people throwing in players like Nkunku. He doesn't seem to be around that much. I didn't see many people putting Foden in. I've seen a few more recently, but Foden's been on my team now probably for 3-4 weeks. The only change I've made in the last 2 weeks is swapping James for Chilwell, and that's it. Other than that, it's been pretty much the same. And I just thought, I'm going to go with a change. I brought Anana in the day he came in. That was the only other one I thought I could switch. I had Shaw, and I thought, well, no, I'll get rid of you, Shaw, and you can have Anana, and that bit of money allowed me to have that triple strikers. And I thought, well, why not?
You're in the YouTube chat league. I'm going to be asking this to anybody that comes on live that's in the YouTube chat league. Is there anybody here now that you want to give a shout out to that you genuinely look at as a rival that you look up to and go, they're the one I want to beat?
Watching the league last year, I was watching where I was watching where you were, obviously. I was watching where Jason was and watching how that jumps around. I tend to keep my eye on Dread as well.
That's the second mention of Dread.
Yeah, Dread and Firetog are the other two, because I recognise them a lot from the chat. And those are the people who I've been keeping an eye on. And generally speaking, last year, me, you, and Jason were swapping positions almost weekly. So it actually felt like, to me, obviously you were aware that I was even there, but to me, I felt like I was having a bit of a race with you.
Oh, interesting. I'll tell you a shout out to another couple of people I look at as rivals, but they're what I classify as freaks of nature. You've got, even though Sultan Saeed doesn't actually get invited to the YouTube chat league, not because he's not a valued member of the community, but he will openly admit himself he doesn't participate in the chat. But he's in the Rivals League. But him, Maestro and John Harris. Those three consistently through the years of Elite FPL have always done exceptionally well, but they are what I call freaks of nature. They just seem to have the golden touch. They do play it very safe. They're very, very template, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that at all. There's a reason why players are template, because they're the best options, basically. Again, your team here, I look at it and I go, within reason, Onana, Estepinian, Gabriel, Saka, Rashford, Toma, Gabriel Jesus and Haaland. So that's 8 players of your 11 are virtually template. And, you know, if you were to swap Nkuku out for a 4.5, for argument's sake, and Buemo came in, you've then got 9 of your 11 which are template, which again, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And that's what the likes of John Harris, Sultan Saeed and Maestro and various other individuals that do very well at the game do. And then it's just the odd differential here or there. Whereas I think people like myself, you, Jason, you can actually throw in the likes of Dread and Firetog as 2 other examples, are the ones that are willing to go early on those punts. Think to ourselves, do you know what, in your case, Nkuku, he's a quality striker, or whatever bloody role he is. But he's a quality player. I expect him in the first 5 games to do very well. He's a very lowly owned player, and he could be the one that shoots me up the ranks. Is that a yes?
Well, yeah. And the other change that I might make in my team, I was thinking of making, was possibly, and I flipped this a couple of times in my head, from Buemo to Eze as well. That's the other one.
Keep away from him. Keep away. He's mine. He's mine.
Well, I've had him in before. In my first draft, I had him in because I didn't want to. I felt like Buemo was this year's Neto, and I thought, I'm not going to get Neto'd again. So I thought, I'm not having him Buemo because he's Neto. He's Neto. This year's Neto. Everyone's going to have him, and he's going to be awful. That's what I thought. So I had Eze in, and then I've relented because of the penalties that Mbomo's got. And I thought, I'll get that in. But yeah, John Harris is your nemesis, isn't he? I hear you mention him a lot.
He's not my nemesis. He's just an individual again, like Firetog. Just, I admire the way they play the game. And because they are genuinely regular contributors to the show, you are going to notice how well they're doing in the mini leagues. Like I said, the Rivals League, the Members League, or the YouTube Chat League. And yeah, from Brentford's point of view, Spurs at home, Fulham away. In fact, 3 London derbies in the opening 3 fixtures. It's quite a rare occurrence. But yeah, my local team up against Spurs, Fulham and Crystal Palace, and then they're at home to Bournemouth. You expecting many goals in those games for Brentford, and what are you expecting from an attacking perspective from Mbeumo? So for argument's sake, are you expecting 2 goals and an assist, 3 assists, 2 goals? What are you looking at there?
I'm actually not that confident on him at all, to be honest. I don't think they've done well pre-season. They've got a lot of goals in. They haven't seemed quite the same without Tony. So, I mean, if he got a goal every 3 games, I'd be surprised.
So based on that, based on that simple thought process, you're expecting 1 goal in 4.
Well, yeah, that's something like that. I don't expect him to be on fire, let's put it that way.
Whereas Eze, who's the key man for Crystal Palace, who everything will go through him, has got Sheffield United away, in which I can see Crystal Palace winning 1 or 2-0. Arsenal at home, I'd expect, even though Arsenal away from home were actually better defensively, Crystal Palace are actually very good at home. So I'm expecting like a 1-1, tight 2-1 victory to Arsenal, something like that. Can Eze be part of something in that? Yeah. Brentford away, again. Wolves at home. Aston Villa away, horrible fixture, but still. And Fulham at home. I would expect Eze, within reason, across, let's just say, the opening 4 fixtures versus Mbeumo, I'd expect maybe 1 goal and 2 assists across 4, whereas Mbuemo, we don't know if he's going to be out of position or not. He's had 1 goal in this pre-season, which was a penalty which he scored yesterday, and I'd expect, if anything, to maybe get 1, maybe 2 goals across 4. So in some ways they're almost equal, but the only thing that goes in favour for me for Eze is the fact that he's the key man to Crystal Palace this year, and I think at 6.5 he's an absolute bargain.
I have to say,
You got to copy me.
Well, no, I have had Eze in. He was actually in my first draft. And it's only just recently I've moved to Mbuemo. But 2 weeks ago I made some changes, and Mbuemo in place of Eze was the first one. I think Brentford are going to be a Sheffield United. They're going to just, having had a brilliant season, they're going to bomb this year. That's my feeling. But Eze, now Zaha's gone, I think he could be the main man, and I'm flip flopping between the two, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's not the one change I make before the game launches.
Yeah. John, appreciate you coming on and thank you for the support. I hope you make this more of a regular appearance, because me and Jason are going to be doing a lot more call-ins, because we can now, because I'm more available in the evening. So hopefully you come on again.
Absolutely, I will do. Usually when I'm working out, obviously I can't chat on the Discord, but as I've just finished, I put myself in the chat room. I thought, well, if I get the chance and I've finished my workout, I'll be fine. So, but I'll definitely be back. So thanks for having me.
No, thank you, and thanks for the support, and we'll hopefully speak soon.
Yeah, thanks for all the entertainment.
In fact, I'm just saying this from a selfish point of view here. Can you remember any standout moments from last season that you felt you were, not necessarily you directly part of, but any standout moments? Like I always, personally for me, I don't know if you were there. In fact, I'll ask you, were you there when Tony missed the penalty and I just walked off? Or I stopped the stream, wasn't it? Were you there?
I don't recall that. I did see quite a few streams last year, but I don't recall that particular one. But I do recall there were quite a few moments that you had, so so it's difficult to pin one down.
Yeah, okay. We'll speak again.
We'll speak again, and good luck for the season.
You too, my friend. There's John Wilkes, a regular contributor, despite the fact he just said then that he didn't watch the moment. For anybody that doesn't know, what do you call it? Tony missed a penalty last year, and I just literally... I think I said it live on air. I was just fuming anyway, and I think I just said, if he misses, I'm literally stopping the stream. Tony stepping up. See you later. Oh, that's just, I always keep saying this. Could you imagine if one of the big streamers did that? Could you imagine? I said, but Matty's saying here, you said bye to everybody and just cut the stream off. What's that? Sorry, Firetog? That Jason leaving when man? Come on, Firetog. Speak bloody English, mate. Tom Steiner saying, I'm not in the league, I just want to beat you, Steve. I'll be beat watching you. What does that mean? Oh, don't you know? Again, these people, I know there's autocorrect, but come on. Trust me, I'm not that great a player. I'm telling you now, there are in fact, well, I'm assuming when I wrote this down, this was literally, it's got to be. This has to be the top. Oh, because I removed some players. So basically, the individuals that did... Now, bearing in mind, these there are some names that I remove from this list, but the winner of last season's YouTube Chat League was Mark Byrne. I've just realised, right, Mark Byrne won it. John Harris came second. Now, I know for a fact I removed certain names, but you look at these names here, look out for. Mark Byrne, John Harris, Seb Long, Michael Swedin, FPL Maestro. Those 5 there did exceptionally well last year. And then you got the likes of Brendan Saunders, Matthew Zaishi, Nuclear Atoms, Harbour Boy, Flying Dutchman, Karma Baby, that also did very, very well. Karma Baby's another one that I kind of look at and go, I wanna beat him. I want to beat Karma Baby. Animation saying Aguero not scoring. That was years ago. That was it 3 years ago now? Jonathan's saying here, whenever I read Jonathan, I just think of Jonathan Ross, not because of now, but basically from the XFM days, and how Ricky Gervais was basically his best bloody mate. Matty, here's a word for everybody that's going to be participating in this. You best look out for me then, and everybody else in that league. Matty Winnerlot saying, Akama Babe's telling me to get stuffed. It feels like I watched that clip yesterday. Animations is saying, Rob Jones, the best one was the Vardy rant. Yeah, I get, I was reminded, actually, I've actually got a picture on my laptop of a screenshot of the tweet that I put out of that particular rant, and I'm just like, horrible. I've always wondered what it'd be like to go back to that video that I did, which was reacting to it all, because it is a members video that is there. There is a members video of that reaction to it all and addressing the audience that were watching this. It's fucking mental. Even one of the videos, I literally did it in my car, a response to the hundreds of people basically slagging me off, and I'm not going to lie, it genuinely got to me. It was horrible. And I just put a comment via video, and that got like just within a 30-second clip on the reply section, it had like something like 12,000 views just on the comments section alone. And then on that evening we had, I think it was something like 300 people watching or something. Yeah, ridiculous. Go back to the poll again. 135 votes again. Thank you for voting. How many players in your current I'll do the Will from the In-Betweeners. Which scene is that? How many players in your current starting 11 draft will be there for game week 1? The majority of you have gone with 6 to 8 or 9 to 10. So the majority of you, so 78% of that 135 have gone with anywhere between 6 to 10, whereas 6% of you are all set with your 11 and 16% with 3 to 11. Let's just read out a couple more comments before we get on with the next caller, who I think is Crazy Jack. I think. Spot on, CJ. Spot on. How stupid is she? She totally believed us. Yeah, to Simon's mum. Has a new member to the YouTube League ever won it? I'll be honest, I don't even remember what happened yesterday, so asking me if a new member has won, I don't have a clue. I know that well, Harry's been a member for a couple of years now. And certainly, I don't think a brand new person has gone on to win it. I know, I'm not going to name them, and I don't want to embarrass them if they're listening back, but I know for a fact that an individual that was a member, you know, they decided they were doing very, very well last year. Like, I'm talking really well last year. And then for some reason they decided it's down to them. They're not going to renew their membership, and we removed them and we never saw them again. You do unfortunately get it a lot with fantasy football players where they get really pissed off with whatever situation it is and just decide to leave. And we do see it on a regular basis. We'll have regular contributors to the show and then all of a sudden they vanish. But certainly from a membership point of view, if you do want to participate in the members league, because I've already had this question asked, how do I join? Well, without stating the obvious, but you have to become a member. Number two, essentially, you have to be a member for the whole 9 months. Basically, you have to be a member for the whole 9 months. It can't just be, I'm joining game week 1. By November, you're top of the mini league, you're top of the members league, or in the top 10 mini league or whatever it is, and you're doing really well, and all of a sudden you just cancel your membership. Well, unfortunately, the following month you will be removed, basically. When I think Jonathan Ross and XFM, two things stick out. The fact he gave Ricky Ollie the cat, and then two, when Ricky went on his show wearing a jumper, Steve takes the piss and Ricky says it's a Lambretta. I always think of when he pulls out his penis and Steve Merchant's like, to be honest, I cringe with Merchant because he's trying to it's like the nerd or the nerdlinger trying to impress the cool kid, and I find it really awkward hearing Steve interacting with Jonathan because Jonathan doesn't want to know Steve. It's really, really awkward. Matty went a lot saying, is the YouTube community league the same league as... No. Trust me, the community league is, you don't want to worry about that at all. Here we go. Karma Baby having a go at... it's called Danny's 69 syndrome. No stamina for the second half of the season, so they just give up. Tom Steiner saying, how do I join? There's no join button. Sadly, unfortunately, I don't know what country you're in or what restrictions you've potentially got on YouTube, but all I know is there are certain countries that don't allow membership. So you won't be able to join the members league for whatever reason that is. But certainly, if you do want to become a member, on the page, which for some bizarre reason I can't seem to bring up because I'm a moron. One of my favourite lines in extras. Moron! Are you talking to me? No, sorry, Steve Merchant looks around. Are you talking to me? Yes. Why don't you tell me it was a gay play? Oh, there we are, view channel. So on here, if I show you on the big screen, and I'm stating the obvious to people that are watching this, Natasha's going to be hating this because this is a really long stream. So on there, the button that says join, well, the subscribe button, and to become a member you just have to click that button and then you just go through whatever the options are. I think there's a $1.99 option, and if you really want to support the show there's a $4.99 option, but it really doesn't matter. So long as you basically become a member, that's it. But I've done enough talking now. Let's bring on another caller. It is it's either Crazy Jack or it's the guy that I was speaking with the other day. If you just want to unmute your mic, and then we'll be able to see. All I can see is C, or maybe I can click on his name. It just says C. So this isn't Crazy Jack.
Yeah, it is. Hello.
Oh, it is Crazy. Why doesn't your name come up as Crazy Jack then?
I'm that crazy. I don't know.
So, Crazy Jack, you were someone that openly admitted that you kind of went away for a couple of years and whatnot, and now you're back.
Yeah.
I can't even remember yesterday, let alone last week. Your team up on screen is Ramsdale in goal, Trent, Stones, Estepinian, Shaw, Son, Saka, Fernandes, Buemo, Jackson, Haaland. Much change since last week? Are you tinkering all the time? What's the deal here?
I think you had my team at the start of the stream, the 4-5-1. That was my team since I last changed.
Right, okay.
And all I've changed is I switched Matoma for Jackson, and in the process I had to change Morris to Vinicius. That's literally the only change I've made. I would prefer... I don't mind Ramsdale and Shaw, but if I knew which fullback is going to start left for Arsenal, I would have them. So it would either be Zinchenko or Timber, possibly. But I think the safer option is Shaw and Ramsdale because I think they're both going to do really well. But I don't really need the extra money. But yeah, no, other than that, really happy with the team. Vinicius, he's not the greatest, but he'll play, and it's taking that 0.5 let me get Shaw back, which I think is still going to be really good. But yeah, other than that, no real changes. The main one has been Jackson instead of Matoma.
Has Mitrovic left?
Yeah, he's gone.
He has actually left.
Yeah, so he's gone to Saudi. They've got Jimenez has joined Fulham.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't know if he's going to be the starter or he's going to be play alongside Vinicius, but when Mitrovic wasn't playing, Vinicius played, he did it quite well, but it could either be him or the Luton guy, Adebayor or something. But the only reason I've gone Vinicius is because he will play game week 2, unlike Adebayor, and then this way I have 2 subs.
Surely in game week 2, you're still going to be playing this 4-4-2, surely.
Oh yeah. It's just like it's in the back, like it's there in case. If that makes sense, because I know there's the
in case of injury.
Like there's the Super Cup thing that might affect City.
How's it going to affect City?
Well, don't they play like 2 days before they play Newcastle, and there could be big changes. I don't know. It's just just in case. I'm hoping I won't need him. He's just going to sit on the bench and just be like this. Like you said, I would play this for game week 2. I wouldn't make any changes, but should 1 or 2 people drop out, I have 2 people on the bench. But I'm not really thinking long term about that. But yeah, it's just a nice idea to have on the option.
I'm just looking at Sheffield United's second fixture. So they've got Nottingham Forest short. Because I'll be honest with you, I would rather have Morris of Luton, because usually from a promoted team, one of the strikers usually does pretty well in the opening 10 fixtures.
Yeah.
You've got...
Sorry, go on. Sorry.
I was going to say that Morris up against a leaky Brighton, because I expect Luton to score against Brighton. You wouldn't play him against Chelsea. At home to West Ham, I can see him scoring. Fulham away, I can see him scoring. Wolves at home, Everton. I think he's a better pick than Vinicius. Fulham this season, I think, are going to be... In fact, Firetog's the one that actually just mentioned about targeting Fulham. I think they're going to be in potential disarray at the moment. This whole talk about whether Marco Silva's going to go or not, or whatever, and the fact that they've brought in a player in Jimenez who, let's get real here, hasn't exactly... Admittedly based on injury, but even last season didn't exactly pull up trees. Without Mitrovic last year, Fulham were absolutely hopeless. Their fixtures are, again, I'm fully aware you are not going to be particularly playing this player, but Everton away is, alright, fair enough, but then Brentford, Arsenal, Man City, picks up again with Luton, Crystal Palace, Chelsea. I would rather just bring in Morris if I was you, personally.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like the only reason, like before, it was the same team, but it was Onana, it was Zinchenko, and then I had Morris instead of Vinicius. The only thing is right now, Zinchenko hasn't played yet, and Timber isn't like 100% nil, and I don't really want to go with like Gabriel or Saliba, because I could just do it. I could have Gabriel instead of Shaw, Onana instead of Ramsdale, so I still have the coverage of Liverpool, City, United, and Arsenal, and then have Morris. Like that would be it, because that was literally my team just before this. But I don't really like Gabriel or Saliba as picks.
Apparently, according to the guys here, that Mitrovic hasn't actually left Fulham.
Has he not? It looked more and less set, especially with the talks of. That's why they kind of brought. I thought that was the whole point of bringing Jimenez in, because like they were preparing for it, because the manager's heading off now as well or something.
There's talk. It's just talk. I don't know how far down the line we are with them both, but there is talk of these individuals being tapped up, shall we say?
Yeah. Well, I think I saw like that guy say the "here we go" tweet, which pretty much he's mostly right. I think so. Honestly, but Fabio, lad, bro, ski. I don't know.
Fire Talk saying Luton don't play game week 2. Yeah, I should have clarified. I would play then Bulldog, because they've got Nottingham Forest at home. Is it Nottingham Forest at home? I'm completely lost.
Yeah, they play Nottingham Forest game week 2.
At home, is it?
No, away.
Oh, it's away. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with playing Bulldog away at Nottingham Forest. That's not exactly going to be a high-scoring game. 0-0, 1-1, some nonsense like that. But anyway, at least it covers, because Morris could do quite well in that Brighton game, maybe like a goal or something like this. But you've been mentioning various players and stuff, but overall, then you're pretty confident with this team.
Yeah, really happy. Like the main switch I said was Jackson instead of Matoma. Brighton don't look great. I mean, they look alright, but they don't really know what they're doing with their team. Like there's gonna be a lot of rotation. I think Matoma will still play, but no, Jackson's looked really cool. He's doing really well, and I just like there's a forward position set up before rather than the 4-4-5-1. It doesn't mean I have an extra player on the bench who actually plays now, which is nice. But no, obviously then the other talking point would still be Son. I know he's not picked a lot, but he is just an absolute boy. Like he's a world-class player, and he's at 9 million. And when you think of Tottenham, you think of Harry Kane and Son. And if Kane goes, then Son suddenly becomes the main man. And I reckon he'd just be insane. Like apparently he played with a bit of an injury last year, or well, quite a big injury actually, but he carried on. I don't know how much that's BS or just trying to like hide why he didn't play well as an excuse. Sorry, but no, I really enjoy Son. He's a great player for 9 million. He's not just a player who's at a good price. He is like a world class player at such a cheap price. It's like insane. And yeah, he will become the main man if Kane does leave, and if he stays, then he's still with Kane, and he's really good for him. He's at a really good price, and I just like him.
Are you able to?
Go on, yeah.
I was going to say, are you able to persuade Animations to be bringing him in ahead of Fernandes?
Ahead of Fernandes.
Ahead of Fernandes, yes.
I don't know about that. I mean, you should have Fernandes and Son. I don't know how the layout would be, but Fernandes is a great price as well. But Son is ridiculous. Like the previous 2 seasons, he was at this price range and he popped off. Last season, he was a write-off because he was 12 million for some reason. They've dropped him down to 9 million. So, yeah, really happy with him. I can't believe he's 9 million. And he's like, you can go down to other positions. Like another person I kind of like who's doing really well is Darwin. Nunez is doing really well. Like obviously I could do like Son if Kane left, I could do something like Son to Richarlison, Vinicius to Nunez, and then if Zinchenko played Shaw instead of Shaw, Ramsdale, Onana, so I still have that cover, and then play a 3-4-3. But obviously then there'll be a lot of rotation worries then, and then obviously then I'll have like Estepinian is a guy. I just don't think Luton. I don't think Brighton are going to do great, but I feel like you have to have him because he's just ridiculously owned.
Yes.
Like I'd rather have Chilwell, but I know if I pick Chilwell, he will pop off, and then I'm stuffed. He's 50% owned.
The thing is, I think with Estepinian, it's more from an attacking perspective than clean sheets, because despite the fact that, let me just have a quick look here at Brighton.
Like this team right now, if I could do Shaw be Chilwell, Espian would be Zinchenko, Timber, and then Onana would be instead of Ramsdale, I would prefer that team, but then obviously I wouldn't have Estepinian, and I'd be like guaranteed he's going to pop off, and then suddenly I'm stupidly behind because everyone's going to play him game weeks 1 to 3. Like game week 1 to 3 is just like, he's just going to, you look on that, he's just going to pop off. But I could see him now not popping off, which won't matter because everyone owns him. But at the same time, it's like, why didn't I go with Chilwell?
Well, he's looking exceptionally good in pre-season. He looks like he's got a very, very, very advanced role.
Yeah.
I'm now going to do a bit of trivia for yourself and the chat if this bloody thing decides to load up, because for some reason it just seems to take forever. But regarding Brighton defensively last season, so this is just a question that I'm just going to randomly look at right now. So on the 26th of April, sorry, forget that, on the 23rd of April versus Man United in the FA Cup, they drew 0-0. In the following... Sorry?
With the penalties at the end of that game.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
In the following X amount of games in the Premier League, how many clean sheets did Brighton have?
So after the FA Cup game, how many clean sheets do they have?
Yes.
And how many games does that consist of?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 or 9.
I had steals, so I should... 3.
Bang on. All right, then. Bang on the money. It was 3. Can you name the 3 teams they kept clean sheets against? I've already given you 1.
Was one of them Arsenal as well?
So you've got 2. So yeah, Man United, Arsenal. Who was the third one? Very good, not very good.
Well, it definitely wasn't Everton at home. Jesus, they got battered in that game. Jesus.
Very good knowledge.
Tottenham.
No, I wonder if anybody in the chat will guess it in the next 10 seconds.
Are they a good team or not?
Well, that'd be giving it away. That they're terrible.
Okay.
They're a terrible team. They're absolutely pants, if that gives you a clue. And no one's got it yet in the chat. Not a single person. So it was Man United. Who?
Wolves?
Correct.
Nottingham Forest? All right.
Correct. Hello, Penguin. Hello, mate. So their last 4 games, admittedly, by this point, they were absolutely shattered.
Yeah.
But they lost 4-1 to Newcastle. They beat Southampton 3-1. They drew 1-1 with Man City. And they lost 2-1 to Brighton. So no clean sheets. What I'll do deliberately, because this should be quite easy, is I'll look at Estepinian and see the kind of attacking returns he got across those 4 fixtures that they conceded. So in the 4-1 loss to Newcastle, there's going to be a terminology for tonight once it loads up.
I know he popped off in the Arsenal game. He got like a goal and assist, I think. or something in that game.
Yes. This ain't going to load up, is it? There we go. Estepinian. He did. This is going to take forever to load up. I cannot be bothered to do this. The point being, though, is that he got nothing in that game. A 4-1 loss. Surprise, surprise. But certainly, from my personal perspective, and based on what Az, who has been watching a lot of Brighton, has been saying, is that defensively they're not looking that great. Maxi is saying here their new goalkeeper is very, very good. It's all about who's in front of them to stop the shots. I'm like you, personally. I'm kind of going with Estepinian begrudgingly, because it's more from an ownership perspective. There was a thought process, genuinely, where I was thinking maybe swap Estepinian for Gabriel and Ramsdale for Onana, just as a simple thought process.
Yeah.
Because if we go to Armand Dillon's question regarding Liverpool, how many clean sheets do you expect, in this case, Brighton, to have in their opening, say, 4 or 5 fixtures? Well, as a percentage-wise, against Luton, probably. Wolves away, probably. But then West Ham at home, no. Newcastle at home, no. Man United, Bournemouth, no. So let's just say in the first 6 fixtures, I'm expecting 2. Even though, ironically, Man United, they kept 2 clean sheets in their last 10 games against Man U. In fact, looking at it here, they only conceded 1 goal against Man United last season in a 2-1 win. So I just, speaking to you here, I'm really liking the Estepinian to Gabriel and Ramsdale to Onana. I just think Man United defensively are going to be really good this year, and that Wolves Nottingham Forest game are brilliant. I think the Spurs Arsenal game is going to allow Onana to get a lot of save points, I think. And with Ramsdale, who is, as you quite rightly say, a very good goalkeeper, someone did make the point, though, it just seems to be him, the one that makes the mistakes. Nottingham Forest at home, you'd expect a clean sheet, but then Crystal Palace away, Fulham, Man United, Everton, Spurs. There's actually a higher chance, I think, in my opinion, Man United keeping more clean sheets. And Gabriel, of course, with the attacking potential and stuff. And these are just, like I say, just thought processes in my head where it's like I just need to swap the odd player here or there. Whereas for you, like you said, it's pretty much the same as me. Is you're kind of waiting on that Zinchenko or Timber or whoever to see who's.
I'm waiting for I think the Community Shield games this Saturday. I know Zinchenko's playing the Ukraine game on the Friday. The support for Ukraine game, but he's only allowed to play 5 minutes. So I don't know. I've supposedly. So I don't know if that's Arsenal talking or that must be Arsenal talking. He would have played more, obviously, but I know he's taken part in that game, so I don't know if he'll play in the Arsenal. I assume he won't at least start in it. So that's a bit of the awkward thing because Timber's done alright apparently in the preseason, and I would prefer the full-backs to Gabriel Saliba, but that's why I went to his Ramsdale because Shaw, we're going to get with him in left back.
Yeah.
And Ramsdale, Onana might be slightly better than Ramsdale, but Shaw is probably significantly better than Zinchenko or Timber. Granted, you're paying more, but if I'm not seeing if I need a reason to pay for the money, obviously I would rather Morris and Vinicius. The only reason I've got Vinicius is because then I could get Shaw. I had to get Shaw instead of Zinchenko because I didn't know. Zinchenko doesn't look like he's playing right now, starting at least, because he hasn't played at all in the preseason. But yeah, I don't really want to go with Gabriel. But like you're saying about, I'm not a fan of double ups in defense because if one goal goes in, it's just it's just hanging to what the rest of it then.
Fozzie has made a point that he's not too interested in Man United's defence. He's saying that they're very leaky in pre-season. I will preface it by saying it, unfortunately, it is pre-season. But with Man United, since that Brighton 0-0 game, they were involved in some very, very, very tight games. In fact, since that Brighton FA Cup semi-final, how many games ended 1-0 for Man United, Crazy Jack, out of 8 or 9 fixtures?
From what point? What point in the season?
After Brighton FA, same fixture FA Cup. How many games ended 1-0 for Man United?
Games, is there?
About 8 games, yeah.
5.
4. So they beat Aston Villa 1-0, they lost to Brighton 1-0, they lost to West Ham 1-0, and they beat Bournemouth 1-0. In fact, bizarrely, there were 5 clean sheets to a team in the space of 5 matches. So, as I just mentioned, there's 1-0 wins, and they also had a 2-0 win against Wolves. The last 3 fixtures, including the Man City final, 4-1, 2-1, and then they lost 2-1 to Man City. So I think, from my personal perspective, I think that Man United, I'm happy to go with, obviously, the likes of Luke Shaw. And to be completely blunt with you, I'd be very, very happy to go with a Man United double up. I mean, even in their opening fixtures last year, they had that battering from Brentford where they lost 4-0. Then they beat Liverpool 2-1. They then beat Southampton 1-0, Leicester 1-0, Arsenal they beat 3-1. They lost to Real Sociedad 1-0. They beat Sheriff 2-0. Then they got absolutely annihilated by Man City in that 6-3. They beat Nicosia 3-2. They beat Everton just 2-1. And then it's just 1-0, 0-0, 2-0, 1-1, 3-0, 1-0, 1-0. All games in Man United's favour. So I think with a more settled defence with Martinez, Varane, Shaw, and me personally, I would pick Wan-Bissaka personally, because he at 4.5
would be amazing, yeah.
is ridiculous. How they've put Wan-Bissaka at 4.5, I can't get my head around. Even though Dalot is the more favoured player for Ten Hag, I just think Wan-Bissaka's fantastic. I think defensively he is absolutely a wonderful player.
Yeah.
But unfortunately he's not nailed. Fozzie, also, if you're still listening, hopefully you check out my Office podcast. It won't be out until, ironically, the start of the season. But Crazy Jack, I could be here all day talking, but I can't be. I've got to get going. But thanks for coming on.
No problem. Yeah, thanks for having me. Enjoy your evening.
No, you too. There's Crazy Jack there, just sharing his simple thoughts about this team up on screen here right now. And as he's making the point, he's in a very similar mindset to me, where pretty much it's just the odd player here or there. It's just the odd player here or there in which we are debating over, really. Fozzie's saying, I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is more favoured. I'll tell you what. Yeah, the Office podcast isn't out till the 15th of August. Yeah, if Wan-Bissaka, if I find out basically that Wan-Bissaka is number 1 choice, I will happily swap. God, do you know what? I would be really tempted to swap Estepinian out for Wan-Bissaka. 0.5 short of it. I was going to say Colwill That's going to require some tinkering, but no, I think that for me, Wan-Bissaka at 4.2. In fact, I could even get rid of potentially Alvarez for a 4.5. So let's just say this West Ham player Mwamba. See how much money I've got in the bank there. I'm doing a Jason now. Bloody hell, it's 10 past 9. 10 past 10. Ooh. Can I do this? Can I do this, lads? Can I do this? Come on, baby. Remove player. Oh, damn. 6 million in the bank to go with a 3-5-2/4-4-2, or more specifically a 4-4-2 into a 3-5-2. I can't do. Blast. Oh, I've got on my screen here Wan-Bissaka, Chilwell, Trent and Shaw as my defenders, and then up front it's Jackson and Haaland. But if I was to remove my fifth midfielder in Ahamada, I've only got 6 million in the bank. Damn. Oh, and Alvarez is 6.5. Damn. Oh, I'll tell you what, lads. Finding that 0.5 million to still do a 3-4-3 with Wan-Bissaka, Trent and Shaw on the opening day, along with Jackson, Alvarez and Haaland up top. Martinelli, Saka, Eze and Rashford in the middle. The only way I can make 0.5 is by getting rid of Ramsdale, but it means losing that potential Arsenal defensive spot down to a 4.5 in someone like, just for argument's sake, potentially Fabianski, or if this Brighton goalkeeper's that good, Verbrugen. You know, you get that feeling when you're 0.1. Well, David Emil is saying that Amran Wan-Bissaka has been pants, apparently. Yeah, going a Nana. But I want Shaw. I'm not interested in Brentford. I'm really not interested in Brentford. McAllister, no, I'm not interested in. Fozzie saying I'm still on 4-5-1. Could go Anana from Ramsdale and Shaw to Gabriel. I want to keep. Thank you, Hussein. Anana to Ramsdale. I just want Shaw. I want Shaw in the team. I'm not interested in Newcastle, Fozzie. Botman, I'm just not interested in at all. Bugger. Oh well. Just going to sit here in silence, Steve. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Just sit here in silence. I think I'm going to end the stream there. I can't believe I've been going on for that long, and thank you again for anybody that has tuned in for this particular stream. pretty chilled. Thanks to the callers for coming live on air and just discussing their teams, their drafts, and so on and so forth. I reiterate this point. Well, I can tick animations off. So, Christos, Andre D, ABJ, A. Dawson, Vince Chapman, FPL Sparta, B. Yakov, Nick Sharp, who's here, Andrew Ferguson, who's here, Colin Bugler, who's here, Kick Your Ass TV, Armand Dillon, who's here, Harry Dawson, who's here, Hussein, who's here, Mr. Scrut, I've already ticked him off, Kevin Kelly, who's here, Cinnamon, Jonathan Mahoney, who's here, John Hayes, PK7, Kazali, KDB17. You guys are brand new to the... In fact, Phil Stones. I mean, you can contact me via Twitter. You guys are brand new to the YouTube chat league. Please contact myself via Discord, at Total Steve on Twitter, or at Elite FPL. You need to basically prove who you are. So for argument's sake, if an individual comes to me and says, and their Twitter handle is Phil Smith, I thought it was Paul Smith earlier, comes to me, Paul Smith, and essentially says, you know, I was invited on the YouTube chat league, and I say, okay, what's your YouTube name? And you don't know, you can't be invited. Anyhow, on that note, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks everybody as ever for tuning in and listening in. Hopefully myself and Jason, or more specifically, hopefully Jason will be available tomorrow evening. If so, we'll be back tomorrow at, I'm assuming, 8 o'clock, but stay tuned. And we'll be chatting even more nonsense. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm going to turn my microphone off. If you've enjoyed the stream, simply hit the like button. If you're brand new around here, enjoy what me and Jason do, just simply hit the subscribe button. Cheers all. Speak to you soon.